Good morning, hello again, thanks for tuning in. So we're with the James Maud squad again today at Holmedale Lake, Sherwood Forest Farm Park in Nottinghamshire. And we're fishing a match of about 20 of us on this lake today. In early October, it's cold, wet. It absolutely hammered down rain yesterday, so I'm getting my excuses in early again. Temperature in the water is pretty cold. And we're fishing a 6-hour match, 10 till 4. We're well spread out with 20 of us on 56 pegs. Hopefully we can get a few fish. There was a charity match here on here yesterday and there were 30 odd anglers on it, but I think £100 won it. But the majority of the fish were caught to my left, to the east end of the lake with the wind blowing in it. Whereas today we're at the top end, we're at the west end of the lake. I'm on peg 13, peg I've fished before, not had a great deal of success off it. I won off peg 15 before, but I've had low weights off 13 in the past. It's been a struggle for me. So with that in mind, the margins are really shallow here. I'm going to keep a close eye on some of the other anglers. I've only set up one pace stroke worm rig. I've got a carper pace float. I've got a £5 line, a bulk shot and a size 12 hook. Set one rig up for that, and I'm going to look at that on 4 different lines to around about the 11 metre mark. So they'll be fanned out and we'll be feeding bits of feed on 4 different swims and just keep checking them over as we did in the past and see if we can pick odd fish up in the first 2 or 3 hours and keep a close eye on some of the other anglers. I've set up a bomb rod and a method feeder rod to fish around the island, but not seeing a lot of fish moving. Hopefully that sun's going to come up over those trees in a minute and it's going to warm us all up. Hopefully it warms the fish up. But optimistic, not sure. I think if we can get half a dozen fish in the first 2 or 3 hours till 1 o'clock, I think that would be good, and hopefully we can get some fish feeding in the afternoon from 2 till 4 and build a decent weight up. But I have fished these margins in the past and really struggled with it. On warm days, it's not been great. To my left, I've got the resident venue expert, Jeff Lomas, on 15. He's on a good peg, and I've got Pete Lambert on 17 behind him. And to my right, you can't see him. And if he starts catching in 9, close in, then I might be able to catch on in the margins as well, but we'll see. Looking forward to it, but I think it's going to be hard to start with. People have started catching. First cast. Ian's car's got one opposite, and I've had a pull as well. Isn't it? I wasn't expecting this. I thought we'd have to wait for bites. Nice mood to start with. The bait wise today then, got some paste, I've got micros for the method feeder, I've got dead reds and worms down the edge if I can get an edge from going later. I'll put some corn as well to give that a try. But it's been a good start. First 5 minutes, all 4 of us, almost opposite each other here, we all had a fish each. I've got 1 or 2 indications on the feeder there's fish grubbing around down there as well. I might start introducing a little bit of feed. We'll see. I'm going to feed my way into this match. As I said, not put too much bait in too early. Old warrior of a carp. Mirror. Looks like a leather one. About 1 hour in. Not had any more bite. 1 or 2 indications, lines and stuff on feeder, but no more fish. And nobody else has any either that I could see. So the first 2 carp in the first few minutes. And nothing since now 11 o'clock. I've fed these lines once already. I'm feeding 4 lines just with a few pellets of food. I'm resisting the temptation to go on them. I've got 2 lines in there at 10 o'clock. One just after 12 o'clock, which has actually got a few bubbles coming up off it. And I'm going to put some pellets in for my 2 o'clock swim, which is upwind. It's going to be harder to fish, but because I've got a few empty pegs to my right, I might actually come on it. I found a spot with the exact same depth on the rig as well. So it's short of 2 o'clock. I'll have a look. It's not the second hour. Let it improve. There's a few fish starting to be caught again there in the second hour. Johan Rand's got one across there. He's got one on. And I've tried my bomb rod. Feels like quite a decent fish this does. Hopefully. Not quite ready yet. Takes time. There's a good fish. That's a nice one. Another £6. Right, so we're 12 o'clock. Just look at one fish in the second hour. I've got 3 now. Guys to my left, I think we've got about 5 each. Opposite's got 1s and 2s. It's still struggling. So just that one fish in the second hour. I'm now refeeding for 4 pole lines, which have not been on yet. Seen a few bubbles come up on one of the lines. I'm trying to resist going on and hopefully there's some fish waiting for me when I go in. Leave it as long as possible. And it was still feeding just a very small portion of Marco's with 2 pellets on. 2 hours in, about £12. It's very slow. Roger's got one opposite. At least it's warmed up a bit with that sun out there. We'll go back on the method feeder for 20 minutes, half an hour, if we can pick something up. Been getting the odd little twitch, little liners. Very delicately picking the pellets up, I think. They're certainly not in a feeding mood at the moment. Number 4. Dark one. That's gone straight away. I'll cast that to the left of my feed. Not big fish, but they're very welcome. Torpedo Commons, I think this is. Not too bad. Bigger than I thought it was. Be £4, maybe 5. Winds are getting up. yesterday, like a Hurricane Ian was coming across from Florida. And if you saw it on the news, there was all boats piled up in Florida, in the harbours, cruisers on top of each other. Another torpedo, I think, this one. Common. I've had some 3 quick fish on the feeder. Until the fish are being caught, so increasing the feed a little bit on the 4 pole lines. I haven't started feeding, like fishing on them yet. But I'm getting bubbles coming up on at least 2 of them. There's fish down there. Little one tearing around. That's another actually. It's £4. Right, so it's 1 o'clock, 3 hours in. 7 carp. Had a good last hour, we had 4. For around, I think I've got liquor showing £26. Sort of similar to Jeff, my left, and Pete next to him, they've all got similar. Roger's had a few, he's got 5 or 6 now. So there's a few of us doing sort of similar. Smed said I'll do 1 or 2 tomorrow on peg 9. But I'm going to give this a couple more minutes on this method feeder, and then I'm going to start fishing with pole lines. And hopefully start catching a few more fish. Got 3 hours to go. That sun's actually really warm now. First look at the paste. So this is anything sat on the feed to my left. Now this swim's not had any bubbles coming up. Don't mean there's not any fish there, but ooh. I'll try and fish it with the wind had calmed down. Straight away it's gone. And it's tearing away though. So did I foul hook it? There's definitely obviously fish sat down there. I can't imagine this is hooked properly, but it's starting to tire anyway. Could be one of them big 20s that's in here. Be a honey monster. Let's have a look where it's hooked. And its flank at the side there, look. So it's near the paddle. But a good fish though. £6 maybe. So I'm going to go back to the same swim. See if there's any more there. See if there's mates there. Let's see if we can get one more fish off there. Never caught. First fish for a while. So I'm fishing two 8mm, soft 8mm pellets at the moment on a 12. Instead of my paste, I just keep missing bites on paste. They're slurping it but not taking the hook for some reason. I missed 4 consecutive bites, then I've got that one. Changed to 2 big pellets and I've got that positive bite straight away. So it's nearly 2 o'clock now, so I've got 9 carp. Only 2 in that hour. It's a disappointing 4th hour. I thought I'd start to increase to 2 hours left. Everybody around that I can see has caught more than me in the last hour. So it's been a good 4th hour for everybody I can see, but not for me. So the last 2 hours it picks up. It's one of them dark ghosties, Ian, with big grey scales on it. I'm back on the double 8mm pellet. So just had them last 2 fish on it. Oh, I missed the bite straight away. I've missed bites today. Come on, carp. Need a few more. I think we've got 10 now. Need a few more in the last 2 hours. Need 10 more, at least. Nobody's catching down the edge at the moment. It's gone 2 o'clock. One or two are trying it, but not what I can see anyway. It's bound to be somebody. But right, 1 hour left. Got 11 carp and I'm well behind on this match. Struggling to know what to do. I've set up a different rig up just to fish single pellet, small pellet on the 11 metre lines. Can't get them to really take the pace. I might have persevered with too long for it. So I'm going to try that now. Set a chance type float up. Same depth as the paste. And just feed a few micros. It's a lot more delicate rig 4x4 20 float. Small hook. See if I can actually encourage a proper bite. Only a 4mm soft pellet on. It's 10 past 3, 50 minutes left, and I've only had 4 carp at 1 o'clock. So I've put in nearly a full pot of maggot on the 9 metre line, just a little bit shorter, and put 2 worms over the top of it. Similar to what I would do if it was in the margin. See if they come a bit closer, and see if they'll take 2 worms over the maggot. If something stimulates them. I caught well on maggot, worm over maggot last time I fished here. It's not looking promising, it's not happening. Not happening on any of the lines at the moment. Ian Carr's catching a few across there. Roger's stopped catching them. The winds are getting stronger. So we're into the last half an hour now. Jeff said a really good 5th hour. It's quietened off a bit now. He probably had 7 or 8 in that 5th hour. So he's definitely winning from what I can see. Certainly winning this part of the lake. Ian Carr's had quite a few this afternoon. I've gone on to the bomb and pellet now. I've got 6mm pellet on the bomb rod. Won't get anything on the maggot worm line. The pellet lines on the pole have dried up, no fish in them. Fed these margins, nothing in them. So they're just really not in the mood. But only 4 fish since 1 o'clock. So I've cast the method feeder over exactly where I was fishing the bomb. The 6mm pellet on the bomb, where I wasn't getting any bites. This has gone straight away. Feels like a decent fish as well, it's plodding. Not monster, but decent. That's the biggest fish of the day for me then. At the same spot, it's gone straight away again. Thank Just doing a time check. 2 minutes to go. We've got another one. Managed to lose one. No. I've not really lost many fish today. We've got nearly everything in. Common. Leaping like a dolphin. In the net. Not a big one. Nice to finish with the fish anyway. The whistle's just about to go, so we'll have a quick look at him. Lovely, lovely fish. That one. Put it in the net. So that's the end of the match. It's been an unusual match. So I've only had 7 fish since 1 o'clock, including 3 in the last 20 minutes. So I've ended up with 14 carp. And a nice day's fishing. I haven't won, but let's go and get packed away and we'll see you where.
On photo.
That's good today.
Probably a bit less than some heads.
I estimated around about 50 because the fish aren't as big. Yeah, it's quite small.
Oh, is it currently here, mate?
Had 3 in the last 15 minutes, but struggled really. Just get odd fish here and there.
Yeah, matey, hold on.
29.15.
You were doing well this morning, weren't you? You were doing well early. Beauty.
Bomber.
What a fish that is.
Those fishing poles. Hold on. That's a side boy. Yeah.
Hey, bro.
There.
Oh.
You've done me, mate.
You like we're 50 boy?
It's not auction then, is it?
That's the side of the pond, mate.
big ones in there.
Yeah.
I've got a ghost, you know, but mine's white.
Hang on, go get a towel and give him a proper dry.
I got bored.
He's been talking a lot, hasn't he, today?
I got bored.
Never sure.
Told you. It's yours, really.
38. 38.13.
Rubbish.
What's
At least when it's like this, the weighing's easy, isn't it? You don't kill any weighing people like this.
41.11.
41.11.
That's in the frame, isn't it? That?
What you got, Rog?
58.3.
Might get a second. Look at that. It is, mate.
It's got extra fish in it
Yeah,
there.
got extra fish in it.
Knocking back.
You can't knock him no bite.
64, 63.
Yeah, about right. That was about 4 or 5 pounds.
Yeah.
64 dead.
Alright.
Well, Rog, second.
That's pretty second, mate.
So on to the results then from yesterday. We're quite tight in the end, considering the conditions have dropped off a little bit. I mean, Holmedale was fishing its head off all we had, getting some fantastic weights. But I think there was a first frost on Friday night after the big charity match on Friday, which that fish well as well, and lots of fish were caught. So our weights were always going to be a little bit lower, but it was a struggle. I mean, we had a couple of do not weights as well, so which is quite unusual for there. And as we've been getting some fantastic weights all season. So there was 19 anglers fished. We caught 755 pounds at an average of 39.7 pounds each. So the averages were down quite a bit there. Onto the sections then. Ian Carr took the first section from peg 43 with £55.5. The second section went to Steve Arapsky, ever consistent, with £56 1 ounce from peg 23. Third section went to Kevin Brown with £56, so Steve beaten by 1 ounce from peg 13. And Sean Green had the final section with £38 3 ounce from peg 33. So well done to the section winners. On to the top three then. We've got Phil Smedley with third, catching on pace from peg 9. He had £59 5 ounce, and I don't think he had a fish in the first hour and a half, 2 hours. He was really struggling, but he got some bigger fish late on. But he says he could only catch on one line and right throughout really. He was struggling anywhere else. Second, another Mr. Consistent, the Yorkshireman Roger Summerscales with £64 from peg 45. I fished a great match, and I think he fished on pellet. He fed quite heavily on a couple of lines, and he stuck it out in that strong wind because it was really windy yesterday. But he had a commendable second place. Well done, Roger. And then first on to Jeff Lomas with a fantastic £80 9 ounce, and he was fishing long, 16 metres long, in that wind yesterday. That was no mean feat. That took some doing, but he had a great 5th to 6th hour. I think he had about 8 or 9 fish on his top 2+2, alternating between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock lines, just fishing soft pellet. I think he got a few micros in his kinder pot, so he didn't feed very much, but they just settled in their swim, and he picked him off on that 5th hour, and that was the difference between him and the runners and riders chasing after him. But he fished a super match to finish with £80 9 ounce. So well done, Jeff. Onto the shield then. So the aggregate shield for Holmedale has been hotly fought throughout the year again. Third place went to Brian Cox with £498. Well done to Brian. And then second to Dave Lillyman with £583. He's fished another consistent season, Dave, so well done for second place. But the league title went to Jeff with £667, and he's took the shield, and well deserved. He's fished a phenomenal lot throughout the year, and he's had a great year. I mean, he does fish the Opens matches there as well, so he fishes a couple of times a week. So he's definitely, we class him now as a venue expert, but he certainly knows how to fish it, and he's took the shield, the league shield for the Holmedale matches for James Maud in style, really. So well done, Jeff. And on to my mates then. I mean, really, I could have done a bit better. I could have got a few more fish. I struggled to fish with the pole, couldn't get the pace lines going, getting odd fish off each line, a few fish on the tip, but it was just a struggle really. I picked 3 fish up late on to get me into the 50s, ended up with £56. Could I have got £80 a caught, Jeff? Maybe, if I done 1 or 2 things slightly differently, but I think the wind defeated me in the end with the pace line. It was just too strong to fish it at any sort of range, and it's quite shallow in peg 13. The feeder line only produced odd fish, so I'm happy with section win, £56, but not too bad at the end of the day with section win. But well done to the top three, and that's the last match here at Holmedale this year. So a big, massive thank you to the Hardings for running that fishery, and they've took over the fishery with much enthusiasm, and they're changing pegs and altering trees and taking bushes out and the paths. They've done a phenomenal job. They've put a super cafe in as well, so keep a lookout for that. If you ever pass in, just call in for a cup of coffee or a nice breakfast. So they're doing a super job of the new venue. Onwards and onwards to next year then. So thank you very much for watching. We'll finish with a few highlights. Bye for now. Feels like quite a decent fish this does. Hopefully. Come on, next time. £6.
Done me, didn't it?
Yeah, you were doing well, weren't you?
Well
Best
done.
smile I've got.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Well done.
buddy.
Second.
Well done, mate.
Second.
Well done, mate.
The wind had calmed down. Straight away it's gone.